Welcome to Runner Tracks, CSUB's Organizational Training and Leadership Series. This module covers how clubs can submit a request to ASI for event funding. We will go over how to prepare to submit the form and discuss requirements, limitations, and restrictions. We will also go over what information ASI wants after the event. Start by going to RunnerSync and clicking Forms. The ASI funding application should be at or near the top. Click the title to go to the form. There is a lot of information here. Feel free to pause this video to read it, or you can read it from the actual application later. The key takeaways here are: ASI funds events. They don't give out money for other club needs. The events must be on campus or virtual, open to all CSUB students, and free to all CSUB students. Clubs are limited to receiving up to $3,000 per year, including a maximum of $500 for travel. Complete the applicant information section. Only a club president or treasurer can submit an application. If you do not have your club's project number, which is called an account number here, email us at getinvolved@csub.edu. Complete the event details section. Under benefits, be specific and creative. Why is this event being held? What are the students going to get out of it? Please note that an event does not have to be submitted through 25 Live before a club can request funding, but a funding request and the event request should both be done as early as possible. The requested amount details section is where you tell ASI how much your event is going to cost and how much you're asking them to contribute. Work out an estimated budget for your event in advance. Use invoices, price quotes, even cell phone photos of shelf tags to support your request. ASI will fund no more than 90% of the total cost of an event, and there may be parts of the event they won't cover at all, like prizes and insurance. CSUB uses different account numbers for different types of purchases, so a category breakdown is required. In this example, the event will have a paid speaker. Put their name and responsibility, how much it will cost, and how much you'll be asking ASI to fund. Your club will have to cover the 10% shortfall with fundraising from other sources or from existing club funds. Do this for every appropriate category, and don't forget that each item will need supporting documents like invoices or quotes. In some cases, costs may change after ASI approves the request. Maybe something the club expected to pay for was donated instead. If this happens, the club can allocate the funds elsewhere in the event without having to seek additional approval from ASI. The new use of the funds must still be something ASI would normally cover. This is where the club uploads the documentation for event costs. There's a spot right above supporting documents specifically for a scan of a menu. An image verifying all non-food costs is required. Uploading additional images like a flyer is optional. The processing section details what will happen to your request after it is received. The club will be asked to discuss the request at an ASI Finance Committee meeting. If the request is less than $1,000, it may be granted that same day. Requests between $1,000 and $3,000 will require the club to also go before the ASI Board of Directors to discuss the request. After the event, clubs will need to submit a list of all student attendees, so have a plan ahead of time for tracking this, either with Checkpoint or a manual sign-in sheet. If the request is approved, ASI will want some information about how the money ended up being spent. There is a separate form for that. Go back to RunnerSync, to Forms, and click ASI Funding Post-Event Form. The ASI Funding Post-Event Form must be submitted within 2 weeks after your event. You will not be able to ask ASI for money for additional events if it is not submitted. Submit the information below as requested. The expenses area is just like the same area in the funding request form, except that you are putting the actual charges instead of expected charges. You will be asked later to upload copies of all of your receipts relating to the funding request. If the amount spent was less than what was requested, ASI will take back the unspent funds. In the expense section, include information about how the money was spent and how much was spent. The club does not need to report any costs here except those paid for with ASI funds. In the spending section, clubs will include the total cost of the event and ASI's part. Clubs need to upload 2 things. One is a single PDF file with scans of all receipts related to the request. The second is a list of all students that attended. If the club used Checkpoint to check in students, export an Excel sheet with that information and upload it. If the club used a manual check-in sheet, scan that and upload it. Clubs should always do an event assessment after an event. If ASI helped fund the event, they want to hear the club's thoughts. What worked, what didn't, and what was the final cost per person? Finally, they'd like you to tell them how they did. Be honest, but be professional with the intent of helping them improve. Here are a few last thoughts about ASI event funding. Funds are first come, first serve, and they do run out, so get your request in as early as possible. Don't ask for the maximum, then try to find ways to spend it. Come up with a reasonable budget and decide what ASI might be able to cover. Plan on finding additional ways to fund the event. If you can fund 50%, then only ask ASI for 50%. Don't jeopardize another club's ability to have their own event. Be prepared with a PDF file that documents your costs, invoices, receipts, or cell phone photos of price tags. Once approved for funding, you must identify ASI as a co-sponsor. The ASI logo should be added to any future marketing materials used to promote the event. The ASI office also has a banner recognizing ASI as a co-sponsor that must be displayed at the event. Since ASI funds come from student fees, you'll have to show proof of CSUB student attendance. You'll also have to show proof of how the money was spent, so have a PDF ready with all of your receipts on it. Finally, don't forget to go back to the Finance Committee and, if necessary, the ASI Board of Directors and thank them for supporting your event. Thank you for watching our Runner Tracks Officer Training and Leadership video on ASI event funding. Please return to the Runner Tracks training form, answer a few questions about this video, and submit the form. If you have questions or want more information, email us at getinvolved@csub.edu, and please watch our other Runner Tracks videos.